Alright guys, I wanted to give you an update on the car and the Jeep situation from yesterday, but before I do that, I want to remind you that tomorrow, the 23rd, we're going to have a live show, 9 a.m. Philippine time, and Philippine date, the 23rd at 9 a.m. and we will have a special guest. But anyways, let me get into this. I think the last thing I had said was I wish this Jeepney driver would show up so we could talk and discuss things and, you know, go from there, work something out with him so we don't really have to involve the police. So last night I was sitting on the couch and heard a knock on the gate and everything, and I went out and it was a Jeepney driver. He was there, his wife was there, his real wife, not the one that was claiming to be his wife. She was there. Two other Filipino guys were there, and the one Filipino guy spoke really good English, so you know I could talk with him and ask him questions. And I had asked the guy, I said, listen, why did he not show up? What is the reason why? Be honest with me, tell me what's going on, you know, just be honest. And he had told me that the driver's license had expired, right? But his license had expired, and then he was afraid. He was afraid to go down to the station, you know, because he knew his license was expired, and he knew he was going to get in trouble. So then we talked and everything. Now, prior to leaving the police station, I asked the police, the investigating officer there, you know, what happens, say, if he don't show up? What happens if he does show up? His license isn't in order. His registration isn't in order. You know, whatever. What is going to happen? What do you need?
60.
And they said what'll happen is he would be fined for not having a driver's license or not having his driver's license up to date. He would be fined for not having his registration and all that up to date. He would also be fined and possibly imprisoned, right, for fleeing the scene of an accident. Plus, if he was found to be at fault, which after talking to the police later on, they did find him at fault, regardless of what some of the experts leaving their opinions had to say, he would have owed me, let's see, they wanted 7,500 pesos to fix the car. All right. Then they wanted another 2,500 to buff the car out, to blend everything together. All right. I just ordered the rear tail light because you're not going to find one here in the Philippines. I had to order the tail light from the States, and that was $102 US. So that right there's another 5,000 pesos. So you're looking at 7, 8, 9, 10. You're looking at about 15,000 pesos. This man would have had to pay me on top of his fines and his fees. So I said, all right, well, let's go down to the police station. Let's go down there. Let's talk it out. Let's see what I'm going to go down there and we'll figure something out. So I got down there, and you know what? I'm not a mean person, a vicious person. You know, I'm not going to try to screw this guy over. You know, people have said, oh, if you're in an accident here in the Philippines, it's always going to be the foreigner's fault. It's always going to be the foreigner's fault. Well, you know what? That is not the case. I'm telling you right now for a fact that it's not the case. If you follow my channel, I got sideswiped twice in my car. Both times it was by a Filipino. Both times the Filipino person admitted, yes, it was their fault, and yes, they would pay for my vehicle. All right, no police were involved. Nobody was involved. So for people to sit there and say, oh, every time there's an accident, it's going to be the foreigner's fault, that is not true. So yes, do foreigners sometimes here get screwed when it comes to accidents and things? Well, yeah, they do. They do. It happens. It's something that happens here. But to say it's always the foreigner's fault, that's not true. So anyways, we went down to the police station, and I knew what was going to happen. You know, they were going to fine him. They were going to take his license. They were going to impound his Jeepney. They were going to force him to pay me. And you know what? Here's my thing. Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. That's how I looked at it. You got to bite the bullet. Because you know what? I don't want this man to, you know, he showed up with his wife, his real wife this time. And you could tell, right, like she was sick.
Yeah.
Like you could tell she had medical problems and stuff.
She's like
and
crying.
Yeah, and she was crying. I kind of, you know,
kind of like begging, like please,
yeah, and you know what?
sorry, like that.
The fact that they were begging didn't change my mind. The fact that they were crying didn't change my mind. I just felt, you know what? I'm not going to take this man's livelihood and put him in a position where he might not be able to feed his wife, his children, whoever else he has to feed and take care of, pay his bills, pay his rent, pay his electric, pay his water. I'm not like that. I wouldn't take that from somebody. And you know what? That's not me. I'm not going to do that. You know, like Lit and I were talking, we still are owed our rent money from where we lived last place, and electric, and the remaining balance of everything. And we will have enough to cover the damages and the expenses. You know, we'll just take that money that we are going to get back from our deposits and just pay for the damage on the car. Like I said, I'm not going to do that to a person. I'm not going to, you know, put him on the streets. You know, some people here struggle, so as it is. You know what, even though they struggle, they still smile. They still are happy people. And I was not going to do that to this man and his family. So when we went into the police station, it was like two cops there. It was the good cop and the bad cop. The one cop was like, you got to make them pay. You should make them pay. You know, that's the thing you should do. And the other cop was like, listen, if you don't want to, and I understand where you're coming from, that's your choice. So it was like a good cop and bad cop. So when we told the lead investigator, listen, we don't want to pursue this, you know, we've come to an agreement, you know, and he even asked us, you know, what's your agreement? And I said, listen, I told him I don't want the man to lose his livelihood. I don't want him to not be able to provide for his family, to feed his family and everything like that. So he said, okay, if that's what you want. And we said, yeah. The cop.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we're sure.
Yeah, like he was actually.
The other cop was trying to push you, like, you need to pursue them. They need to learn a lesson for. Then you answer them, I'm not like that. Like, I'm not a mean person. That's why the buses, driver, and all of them. And then he said to the guy, you're so lucky that he's such a good person, because if he don't, you're such a paying 15K or 15,000 pesos, you will drive every day of your life, every day of this month just to pay this person.
Well, no, he wouldn't, because they were going to impound his Jeepney. They would impound his Jeepney until he showed proof he could pay me, and he would have to pay his fines and take the risk that they didn't charge him with a hit and run and put him in jail. Who knows? But that's what the investigating officer told us. And you know what? The officer, the one, the good guy, the bad guy, he was like trying to convince us to press charges and pursue it. And when we finally, when we said, listen here, I don't want to do this man and stuff, there were other people in there and they heard what was going on, and they told the Jeepney driver, you are so lucky. You are lucky that you came across a person who is kind-hearted and doesn't want to see bad happen to you. Because you know what? Like the police officer said, he said, you know what? Filipinos would have went after him for the damage. They would have went after him.
They want this, they want that,
they want that, want this, they want that. They said, you're lucky. And the officer even turned to the Jeepney driver and yelled at him. Like he was yelling at him and everything. Yeah, it was different. Like I said, here in the Philippines, if you open up a case against somebody or something, and halfway through it, you decide, hey, I don't want to pursue this. Let's just drop the case. They will just drop the case. They will just end the case, and the police are not obligated to come in and continue the investigation. It's a dead deal. So what happened was, once we came to this agreement, the investigating officer wrote a statement stating, I am no longer pursuing this incident between this guy, and he wrote it all down. They've come to an agreement, and it is now a finished investigation, period. And he was writing and everything like that, and I was watching him write it, make sure it was in English, because I've watched them kidnap the broad things and all that other stuff where things are written in the language and you don't understand it, and you're admitting to a crime that you never committed, but because you didn't understand and they told you what was on the paper, the person signed it, and they wind up getting in trouble. But yeah, they wrote it in English and everything. I signed it. The Jeepney driver signed it. You signed it too, right? As a witness. There were witnesses that signed it. So yeah, that became the end of the investigation. Everything is done. Everything is complete. You know, and here's the thing. When things like this happen here in the Philippines, you got to live with your decision. You know, if you're a foreigner here and you're in a you know, a foreign country, you have to live with your decisions with things like this. I would have felt terrible. I wouldn't have been able to sleep. I'd have felt guilty. I'd have been like, you know what, I put this man out of a job. I put this man in a position where he can't feed his family. And you know what, last night I slept fine. If I'd have pursued it, I think, and said, yes, let's do this for a few $100s, I would have felt bad. I really would have felt bad. And another thing too is people say, oh, you're here in the Philippines, you're not a Filipino, you don't have rights.
He have a right.
I don't know why.
Everybody have a right.
Yeah, I don't know why people say, oh, you're a foreigner here in the Philippines, you don't have rights. You have rights. You have rights. Now, are things a little funny here? Well, sure they are. But you have rights here in the Philippines, you know. As long as you're doing the right thing, you know, you don't have to worry about anything, you know. Yes, like I said, situations happen where foreigners are in accidents and they are found guilty and they were, you know, I know it was right. I knew, you know, what happened. You know, yes, it does happen. It does happen. But, like I said, I'm here to tell you that not every accident here in the Philippines, if you're a foreigner, it's your fault. Period. I'm living proof. What else? You got anything else? Anything else to put in? Nothing else to put in?
Nothing. I forgot already earlier. I remember it now. I don't remember.
Think about what you want to think.
No, I don't remember no more.
Oh, she don't remember anymore. But yeah.
Watch tomorrow.
You know what? And I think maybe because the police did ask him. Here's another thing. The police did ask him what happened. He told his story, but the police flat out told him, "You were wrong. You were wrong. You would be charged with it, and not me." So yes, he was wrong. And you know what? What killed the little chance he might have had was shot and killed off the second he didn't show. The second he didn't show up, his chances and anything that he might have said to defend himself or take care of himself was done. Right. Period. Because of the fact that he'd show up. And actually put himself in more trouble by not showing up. So anyways, that's it. I gotta get down to, like I said, I got a quote already on the car, and I gotta get down there maybe this week. It's gonna take, I didn't expedite the tail light this time, just regular shipping. Should be here by the beginning of June. But yeah, I gotta get down to the body shop. What is today? Maybe Thursday. They just said show up. So I will show up and they will take care of everything down there. It's walking distance. I could drop the car off and then walk back here, drop it off there. They said they should be done in the morning with it. And I will show you the body shop because it's nothing like you've ever seen. So anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. And tomorrow's another journey. Leave the comments down below. Let me know what you think. You 10 to 15 guys love to give thumbs down within, you know, an hour or so. Go for it. Give me those thumbs down. But anyways, tomorrow's a new day. Journey continues, and tomorrow, live show with a special guest. Stay tuned.